Yes, sir. Shall we start, sir, now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
34 participants.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. So good afternoon again. I'm Dr. Deepika, Associate Professor in Department of Immunohematology and Blood Transfusion of Kasturba Medical College, Manipal. So first of all, I would like, on behalf of the organizing team, I welcome everyone, the participants, speakers, for the launch of the first ever hackathon to be conducted in the field of transfusion medicine. Path-breaking inventions, discoveries, and innovations in today's scientific field make tomorrow's life easier and smooth. So today is National Science Day, which is celebrated to mark the discovery of Raman effect of Indian physicist by Sir C.V. Raman, which earned him the Nobel Prize in 1930 in the field of physics. So on this memorable day and this occasion, we are here to know about a new thought which will help us in uplifting the voluntary blood donation process in India. This is a small event which is to address what is hackathon or innovation and its relevance in the medical field and especially to the field of transfusion medicine. To begin with, I request Dr. Navjyoti Chaudhary, President of Asian Association of Transfusion Medicine International, to deliver the welcome address. He is always encouraging and supportive in facilitating activities to raise the standards of in the field of transfusion medicine, both nationally and internationally. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Deepika. This is the pleasure to talk to you, all friends. And, to be very honest, I also didn't know what is hackathon when it first started. I thought it will be something like a marathon. So then when Dr. Sami explained to me, for me at least, there's a learning every day. So that was learning for that particular. So this is the one product, a new product, and I feel this is the first time it is happening in India. And we are doing it with a collaboration of Manipal University. We actually had a previous occasion also working together with the same organizations. It is a very reputed organizations. We completed a WHO project that was last year during the COVID, because during the COVID also we didn't sit down and all of our members were working very hard. So that is the first introduction. This is the second introductions with Manipal. And I actually wish all this, our members as well as participants a great experience. And this is the new program actually started by our new executive for new office bearers of AATM India chapter. And I hope they will bring new, they have got a big list of programs to be carried out for 2022. And I'm sure they will implement all, and we will be able to contribute in the field of teaching and training in transfusion medicine. Before I wind up, I take the opportunity to all the members to say a few lines for other new program. As you know that we are working successfully on two new programs. This is a unique program of AATM. One is ABP Quality Certificate, jointly launched by AATM member countries, and already around 6 blood banks they have got this certificate. So as a transfusion medicine specialist, you may also go ahead for this ABP Quality Certificate. It's a very interesting journey. We learn many things because most of the blood bank already accredited they are also improving by themselves. Number two, what we are, second program is successful program at this moment is the advanced certificate course in transfusion medicine. And this program actually is a unique by its nature. This is the only such program in the world, I must say. I mean, no other, there's one program that is on the cellular therapy, that is by ABP. Barring that, this is the only program in the global scenario. And we have got lots of registration across the globe. Now, recently, just on 17th of this month, we have submitted a project in the European Commission for developing training in technical training and communication skill training in Indian three Sri Lankan university and 2 Indian university that we have submitted is subject to approval by the EU, but we hope this time will be successful. Last but not the least, we are actually, if you really say, AATM is one of the fastest growing transfusion medicine organizations in the world nowadays. We are doing lots of new program. 2 new programs, just I will mention the name. This is the conceptualization stage, and we are already started working on that. We are developing 2 courses. One is for transfusion nurse. Nursing is a very neglected in transfusion medicine, especially in India, because it is required by the Drug and Cosmetic Act. We take just a nurse and put her name in the license and just forget about her. But they also have a career. So it's a transfusion nurse. It is a modular courses we are developing. Number 2, another neglected area is the communication skill. In engineering as well as in management, it is a compulsory course. You have to pass. However, in medical, we have this communication skill with everybody. Blood donor, you have a patients, thalassemia patients and clinician, but we do not have any communication skill during our course and curriculum. So we are working on it. This is conceptualization stage. We'll let you know when it will be rolled out, and there are some members already in this program. They are working on it silently because we work silently. And thank you very much, Deepika, Dr. Shami, as well as office bearers of AATM India chapter for calling me to give me 5 minutes time to talk. Over to you, Dr. Deepika.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those encouraging words, and rightly said, this is a learning opportunity for all of us. And AATM has come out with, through the association, we are trying to improve the field of transfusion medicine. Thank you once again, sir. Now I welcome Dr. Suchit Sachdev, Vice Chairperson of AATM India chapter. He is known for his enormous contributions towards promotion of voluntary blood donation in India, and I request sir to give an overview of the program. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, as has been very well described by Dr. Navjyoti Chaudhary, I hope my screen is visible and I am audible.
Yes, sir.
So, this is one of the innovative thoughts or concept which was taken up by under the agenda of enhancing transfusion services on behalf of the Asian Association of Transfusion Medicine India chapter. And I would like to take you through a very small presentation. So this is what is the blood donation scenario per 1,000 population as per the World Health Organization in 2013. And if we see, India is here, and we are in the zone of 5 to 9.9 blood donations per 1,000 population. So there is definitely a need to bridge or balance the gap in supply versus the demand for blood and blood components. And there are unique challenges for both developing as well as the developed world in terms of the indications for a blood transfusion. And just to take you all through a very small journey of iVolunteer or the volunteer blood donation in India, it started somewhere in 1954 in the Western India and was pioneered by Mrs. Leela Mulgaonkar and Dr. V.G. Mavalankar from Ahmedabad Red Cross Society. In the Eastern India, from the Jadavpur University by Dr. Triguna Sen, the Vice Chancellor in 1962, and which led to the Association of Voluntary Blood Donors in West Bengal, and in the Northern India by Dr. M.L. Gupta, Director, Indian Red Cross Society Blood Bank, and of course, our founder of the Department of Transfusion Medicine at here, PGI Chandigarh, which is also one of the mother blood banks in India, Professor Jay Gopal Jolly. And we all have been through a havoc called COVID, a pandemic. So it is also kind of a disaster. And I will not go into much details, but there is a sudden requirement of large amount of blood than what is usually required. There may be a temporary restriction or elimination of blood collectors' ability to collect, test, process, and distribute blood. And there are multiple challenges with regard when such pandemics occur. There are issues, regulatory issues. There are issues with how we will train our staff, how we will go out, how we will manage blood donation. So there is only one way forward, and that is to manage your donor database with information technology, or convert a first-time donor into a repeat donor into a regular blood donor. And this is where there is a challenge posed upon all of our human intellect, and we start scratching and finding out solutions. And this is, blood donation is a real challenge, and the digital technology can be used to help get more donors as well as keep existing ones motivated while adding alternate ways to boost blood stocks, therefore articulate needs during scarcity. We have all been through this, from the famous song we all used to hear when we were kids, Mere Piya Gaye Rangoon, with that beautiful old telephone, to this latest smartphones and these apps. And I wish the team from Manipal University and all the best for this hackathon. Good wishes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking us through the history of voluntary blood donation and the management, donor database management, and how information technology can be used. And thank you once again, sir. Now, I request Dr. Krishnananda Prabhu, Associate Dean, Kasturba Medical College, Manipal, who always encourages newer initiatives and has a wide experience in conducting hackathons at Mahe Manipal, to enlighten the participants on what is hackathon and its importance. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, madam. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First of all, at the outset, I should thank the Association of Asian Association of Transfusion Medicine for giving this opportunity. And one thing, they made our job very easy. That is, they have very clearly stated the problem statement here in this screen. This is a, as you can see, 1 minute. I'm using. They already created this stated the problem statement, which is a very crucial part of one of the component of the hackathon. So I was being specifically requested by Dr. Shami madam to make the audience understand what is the difference between hacking versus hackathon. Probably the hacking, all of us know it is an deliberate attempt to compromise or enter into a digital space of somebody else without their permission, which is sometimes can be legal or sometimes can be illegal. It can be punishable offense. Whereas a hackathon may be an offshoot or maybe developed based on the initial word hack they might have used. Something like we have in Olympics, we have decathlon, pentathlon, like that. It is an event. It is a multi-step event, like a sprint-like event, which often definitely uses a computer programmers, but need not be always. But what is important here is it has other domain expert who collaborate intensively on a specific problem or a project. That is what we are planning to do in time to come and during this hackathon. So how exactly we'll start the process. The process starts with the identifying the major problem statement, or identifying what is the problem. So luckily for us, the domain expert have already stated that problem. Identifying the problem is not that easy. For a layman or person is not a subject expert. Luckily, our experts have already identified that problem. Now, what we need to do during this process of hackathon is empathize with the user. It is very important part. This actually slide I got it from Dr. Arun Shanbag, I think, who is going to speak after me. He is our Chief Innovation Officer of our MAHE. So here specifically gives a very nice example of empathizing with the user. That means imagine that you are trying to solve a problem in a hospital setting. Probably there are a lot of people who are queuing up in the registration counter. Probably how to solve this problem, because a lot of rush will be there. So usually we'll think that having an app which can do them, register them easily by using from home or from sitting in wherever they want, rather than standing in a queue and creating a chaos. Then he aptly said that most of these patients may be coming from a very rural areas, maybe poor patients. They may not have access to a mobile phone. Even if they have access to mobile phone, they may not have access to a smartphone. So probably there may not be, unless you know who are the end users. So good example, analogy for this is Dabbawalas of Mumbai. All of us know how successful they are. They are not using any kind of high-end technology. So what I'm trying to stress upon here is whenever you define a problem statement or trying to find an idea, you should always empathize with the end user to make your idea successful. So that is what I'm trying to drive that point. So now what we have been already given is, we have already been given a problem statement by the subject expert here. So what we have to do is we have to sync these things together. So that means we have to first identify who are the end users of this problem, and by empathizing with the users, how I can develop an idea so that it will be a win-win situation for all. So, and further, this part from here onwards, we have some furthermore step to complete the process of hackathon. I mentioned that hackathon is a multi-step event. So for all practical purposes, today's event or whatever they're going to happen, this hackathon, we will stop at this moment. Means we are trying to identify a novel idea out of all the participants' idea, and probably they will be taken forward to the next step till they actually come out with a ideal test prototype which may be ready to be used. So one more point here is the idea which you're going to develop need not be high-tech. So it can be as simple as, all of us know that which movie from this kind of idea I first saw in a PK movie, and this is from Three Idiots. I think that concept, it can be very simple concept where it may be useful for all, even without the need for high-end technology. So whenever you develop a innovation or an idea, you should empathize with the end user. So probably in a simpler way, so probably how you can identify a problem, probably the experts have already identified for you. Maybe what we want to do in this process is, can you make a difficult process easy, a complicated process simple, an inexpensive one, a dangerous one to a safer one, an unhealthy to healthier one, and it needs to be operated by an experienced person with a easy to operate with a layman also, and it should be, if it is it should be lighter, means if it is in heavy. For example, similar, this is one of the idea. Again, this slide was given by Dr. Arun Shanbag, who is the Chief Innovation Officer of our MAHE. This was a one-page concept of the entire idea. So what they have done is they clearly identified the problem. So, and they developed a novel solution for that. So they identified who the end users and who is going to benefit. So if you have the clarity here, when you have been given a problem statement, now you identified who are the end users. So you have to empathize with them, and probably they have identified a solution. This is an idea novel. This is novelty here is there is no need for these high risk pregnant mothers to visit the doctors frequently, so that the fetal vitals can be directly transferred to a device, to a doctor's device at his clinic without the need for the patient to go there. There's always a question, but the end users here, this may not be applicable for a layman or a wage workers who may not have access to this technology. Nevertheless, this definitely will be applicable to those users who have an access to mobile phone, or middle class or high middle class people who are little learned and have little bit awareness how to use a minimum use of technology. So what we have already in our hand now is we have a problem statement. Now what we have to do is apply our creativity, carefully empathizing with the end users. So convert your creativity into a kind of invention. Invention means converting the idea into a new idea or concept which may come out as a successful commercial product. So the creativity converts into innovation, the invention, and invention moves to innovation. Innovation is the final, your idea converting into a creative product which has a desired output. So I hope it is clear. You have a problem statement with you. You use your creativity, empathizing with your users, convert that into an invention. Invention means a kind of virtual. Invention is a virtual, but if you actually become a prototype, it becomes an innovation, and further it requires validation. So I hope that is only I wanted to say. So now just a final slide from my side. How to win a hackathon? This is just I've taken it from source. So idea should be very catchy, and you should have this. Once your idea is, you pitch your idea, means pitching idea means to present, make others believe that what you thought is really novel, very useful. If your judges you get appreciation of your judges, that means you are a selected concept. Once you reach that level, then next step is you have to identify a team, depending on what area of expertise to complete that entire prototype is required, whether it is from electronic engineering, or whether it is from mechanical part, or whatever, depending on the nature of idea. You may require to have a multidisciplinary team, which we probably are going to help you out once your idea becomes shortlisted. So that is called as incubation. Once your idea is ready, it has been identified, selected, then it gets incubated with a team of members. With the help of our innovation cell, we'll try to convert into a workable prototype. Then it is ready for the launch. So this will not happen during this process. This is a completion, second half of the hackathon. It will be applicable only for those who are getting selected. So thank you all for your attention. I wish you all the participants good luck, and thank you very much for the opportunity given.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that extensive information about hackathon and the process flow, how it happens. I think it will help the participants to be more clear what hackathon is. Thank you once again, sir. Next, we have session by Dr. Arun Shanbag, the Chief Innovation Officer at Mahe Manipal, who has been guiding us in planning and conducting this hackathon. He will enlighten us on what is a medical hackathon and about social innovation in India. As Sir is traveling, he is unable to attend this event, and we have a recorded video of this of his presentation. I request Dr. Aikaj, can you play the video?
Thank you and welcome to the launch of the Blood Donation Hackathon. I want to apologize, I'm not able to be there in person because of my travel. So I'm going to record this and hopefully I can share my thoughts with you on this really interesting hackathon on blood donation. So welcome all of you. I hope you will participate in this in large numbers. So one of the first things I want to mention to you is that this is a medical hackathon. It's not a technology hackathon, it's a medical hackathon. And we have identified here a important medical problem, how to improve blood donation. I have a very interesting hackathon here, the blood donation hackathon, and I think this is a very important problem which needs to be solved. There are several topics within this hackathon, the problem statements, as some of you may have already seen it. The challenges are, how do we recruit first-time blood donors? How do we encourage repeat blood donation? How do we involve more women to participate in the blood donation? Are there any techniques to reduce the reaction to blood donation? And importantly, how do we enhance the blood donation experience in its entirety? And these are several problem statements. As you can see, they're not very technologically intense, but they're very important challenges which the blood donation community feel is important. So I think they are experiencing this. So I think it's very important that we work on this. In general, I want to talk about medical hackathons. They're very different from technology hackathons. In a technology hackathons, the students are already given a identified problem statement, and they will work overnight maybe or over a whole weekend and come up with software, and by Monday or sometime, they will submit that software. Slightly different in a medical hackathon, we changed the dynamics a little bit to take into account our diverse stakeholders. We have students, we have faculty, we have engineering students, we have health professionals, and everybody involved. So we have changed this a little bit. We will actually have our launch today, and we have registration in about 10 days, I think 12 days, we have the registration deadlines coming up. Then we will have a shortlisting part where we will submit your ideas for what they are, and then a finals will be scheduled about a week after that. Okay, so this is a slightly different timeline, if you will, for our hackathon. In a medical hackathon particularly, I want to mention, and which is actually, I'm fascinated by this, we have done about 30 to 40 hackathons in the last several years here in Manipal. In a medical hackathon, we rely on the medical community. In this case, the blood center at KMC, we rely on the medical community to identify problems which they have noticed, which are challenging them in providing the service to patients. In this case, it's the blood center which has identified the problem, and in which we listed out all the different problem statements. So now, once the medical community has identified these problems, we as a hackathon community of innovators, most of you are innovators, can identify or pick one of these areas which they have identified and come up with solutions. And then we can bring in technology people, business people, pharmacy people, communications people to actually help us come up with solutions for this hackathon, for the problems which we have identified. And I think that is the key difference, is in this kind of a medical environment, medical hackathon environment, we need an interdisciplinary team to brainstorm and not only identify the problem, solve it, come up with ideas, keeping in mind the needs of the medical community. So it's not going to be possible for engineers or business people to stay in their own vacuum or in their own bubble and come up with solutions for this hackathon. It'll not be possible, right? You may think you know it, but you want the inputs from the medical students or the medical professionals to tell you what the real reality is on the ground there in the challenges the blood center is facing in getting people to donate the blood. So you want this collaboration, and it has a collaborative process right from the beginning, from the ideation part to the solutions part, from the problem identification, coming up with solutions, and then implementing it. So we don't expect, say, the medical professional people to actually have all parts of the solution, right? We only expect the medical community to maybe identify very specifically what the problem is, and then maybe give some ideas for what the solution could be. And then perhaps other members of the team can come up with valid solutions, novel solutions, and make it work. So the next point I want to actually mention is why it is important for the medical professionals, actually healthcare professionals in general, to participate in this. See, it's because you, being a healthcare professional, you are facing these challenges every day. Day in and day out, you see these challenges, and you may work around it by coming up with different solutions. You know, say, okay, I have this problem, I can't do this now, I'm short of time, maybe it's too complicated, it's too expensive, whatever, and you will come up with your own workaround. So what we are asking is that once you have identified the problem, perhaps you can share that with your team members, and that kernel of an idea you already have, because you are dealing with this every day. That kernel of an idea, if you can share it with your team members, and then they can come up with other ways to actually solve the problem and make a sustainable solution. That is what is important. So it's not just important to have participation from the health professional. They need to participate actively and bring their learnings and their experience to the team and share that, and also share the kernel of their ideas with the rest of the team, so we can actually have a very innovative solution done for this problem. So that is why it is important that the healthcare professionals participate in this hackathon, and all of them. And I think every team needs to definitely have at least one or two health professional students or professionals on the team, and they can have other members like business people, engineering or technology or pharmacists or nursing or any other group they want to have as part of their team. A question which comes up always is, what is social innovation, and how does this apply to this particular hackathon? In a typical innovation scenario, we have identified a problem in the real world, and we will come up with a solution. It may be a product or a device. The team will eventually patent that product, patent the technology behind it, and we can even commercialize it or do a startup to actually make that into reality. So there is some money involved in there. There is some expectation of profit when you actually come up with a device and you have to sell it, and there's a profit. But that is not social innovation. In social innovation, what we are talking about, particularly, which is very applicable in this blood donation field, is we really don't expect there to be a monetary profit. We're really looking for solutions which will benefit society, which will benefit the people who are participating in a healthcare environment. So it can be anything. It could be an app you can create, a website, business process. And in this particular case here, the solution may be an educational video, some flyers, or anything. So these obviously are not going to be generating monetary profits for you, but it's going to benefit society as a whole. And that is what we mean by social innovation. We don't expect how to make money here. We expect only that do we benefit society from our innovation? And the same thing applies to generally in the healthcare field, in education field, and in the community development field. So this is a key important distinction with social innovation. You really are not driven by money to do the innovation. You want to just improve society, and that's why we're participating in this hackathon. I really hope all of you participate in this hackathon. This is going to be one of the first times we are doing this. It's very interesting problem statements, and we will support you in any way we can from the Innovation Center. One part I want to mention is about the seed funding we provide. So the way this hackathon is set up, the first part is you have to just come up with ideas. You and your team come up with different ideas, and then submit the ideas. There's a deadline for that submission of their ideas. So again, a 3 or 4 slide PowerPoint deck you have to submit. And once you get shortlisted, we may shortlist about 10 to 20 teams based on how good their ideas are and how implementable their ideas are. We want to assure you from the Innovation Center that we will provide all the seed funding you need to actually do this. Right now, we're targeting about 10,000 rupees for each team, which gets shortlisted, and you can use the funds to develop your prototypes. Many times we find students will actually come up with their ideas, and they'll have great ideas, but they don't take them anywhere. They don't develop that prototype to see if it is actually going to work. But they hesitate, and that's because that prototype is going to cost some money. Some flyers they have to make, we have to make a video, they may have to make an app, they have to register a website, whatever it may be, there's a cost involved, and a lot of people are reluctant to spend money out of their pocket. So we want to get over that hurdle and provide you all the resources we can. So that is why we are providing the seed funding. So if you can come up, if you get shortlisted, you can come up with your prototypes, whatever it may be, and you can use the funds we are providing. Actually, the way it works is you spend your own money and send us the bills, and we will reimburse you for that amount, up to 10,000 rupees. In case you need to spend a little bit more, let us know, check with us, check with our team in advance, and we will even provide you the permissions to do that. Okay, so I think the shortlisting, the seed funding we provide for the shortlisted team is a very important component of the hackathon, because we don't want to just fund the top 2 or 3, which we will. There will be prizes for the top 2 or 3 or 4 teams maybe, but even the 10, 20 teams which are shortlisted, we'll provide them with the seed funding, which I think is a big step forward in promoting this hackathon. And generally we do that with other hackathons as well. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of participation from your side, from all the students here, from all the different institutes, and anything we can do, any way we can help you further, please do not hesitate to contact me. Okay, thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that interesting and informative guidance on medical hackathon and what is social innovation and the importance that it is of not commercial purpose, but to improve the society. So this is one important thing, because the theme for our hackathon is improvement of voluntary blood donation, which comes and aptly fits under social innovation. So I request the teams to make a note of that, and your ideas can be towards that.
Dr. Deepika, you are muted.
Deepika, you are muted.
So sorry. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay. I thank Dr. Arun Shanbag for his enlightening information. And knowing about hackathon and innovation, now I request Dr. Shami Shastri, Secretary, AATM India Chapter, who always shows interest towards implementing novel initiatives in research and academic activities of transfusion medicine. I request Madam to talk about the problem statements of this transfusion medicine hackathon and describe them, how participants can come out with ideas. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Deepika. Hello, everyone. On this occasion of National Science Day, we are happy to launch this unique program, Transfusion Medicine Hackathon, with the theme of upliftment of voluntary blood donation. Nowadays, it's common to see the urgent call for the blood donors in the social media, and we are all aware that there is still a gap to be bridged, and acute shortage of blood has become a never-ending story in most of the transfusion centers, especially wherever there is huge patient load. So if people come on their own with voluntary will, with their own idea to donate blood, with true altruistic nature, if they come and donate blood in blood centers and ensure the adequate availability, then that's a dream come true situation for the transfusion medicine specialists. So voluntary blood donation not only ensures the availability of the blood, it strengthens the entire healthcare system. It also ensures the safety of the blood, and we can give the adequate dose of blood and blood components at the golden hour when the patient requires. And it also relieves the stress on surgeons, clinicians, anesthetists, and the family members. So with this background, we thought of having hackathon in this field of transfusion medicine, which is first of its kind. And hackathon, as we have already discussed, is a powerful tool to spur the creativity and innovation, where an interdisciplinary team of health, technology, and management experts work together to solve a common problem. So this triggers creative ideation and also innovative solutions for the common problems. The problem statements that we have identified here are about recruitment strategies for mobilizing the first-time voluntary blood donors, and new strategies for retention of the donors, novel techniques for reduction of donor reaction, and approaches to improve female blood donation and donors. Also, some creative methods for upliftment of donor experience at blood center. So now let us discuss these statements one by one. The first one is about having an innovative idea for the recruitment of first-time voluntary donors. If we look at the donor statistics in India, 45 to 53% of the donors are the first-time donors, and majority belong to 18 to 29 years. They are young people and they are educated as well. However, there are several external, internal factors, so social factors, and some of them may be motivating and some of them may be barriers to carry on voluntary blood donation. So definitely there is a huge scope for social innovation here. So we need to understand our donor, communicate with them, understand their belief, attitude, and fear, the cultural values, religious values, and the social values that are promoting voluntary blood donation, and build a trust, have an innovative idea for tailored donor recruitment. With this, we can definitely improve voluntary blood donation rate. The second problem that we have identified is about retention of blood donors. As you all aware, our donor base or the donor pool is influenced by several factors. Those someone donate blood once, they may not become a regular donor. They may stop donation. They may get deferred in future. And a lot of recruitment activities, the donor selection criteria finally influences our donor base. So if you look at the donor attrition rate, in our country, it varies from 20 to 60%. Even if you take at 40% of attrition rate, if we begin with 1,000 donor, after 1 year, we may have only 600, and after 5 years, only 78. So we need to address this donor attrition rate, and that's our second problem statement. So how do we work towards retention of the donors? Here, there are several factors that innovator may consider, because a donor may worry about the time, he may fear of needle or the blood donation. It may be a painful procedure for him, or a donor may consider the distance he has to travel or the delay in the process. Sometimes people may lose interest or forget to donate blood, or there may be some health reasons. So the innovators may consider these factors, and they can plan a newer technique to retain the blood donors, or reduce the stress or the anxiety that donor goes through, the fear or the pain of blood donation. So all these things can be addressed, and with creative thinking, we can come up with new ideas to recruit and retain our blood donors. The third problem that we have identified is the donor reaction, and some novel techniques can come up for reduction of donor reaction. Following blood donation, donor may have some minor or major reactions like bruise, fatigue, weakness, and giddiness. And it is noted that 36% of the donors go through this. It has got a significant effect on his return rate. and 34% of such donors do not return for blood donation. So innovative methods can reduce the donor reaction rate and thus retain blood donors. And the fourth statement is to improve the female blood donation. In our country, 5 to 6% of the donors are female donors, though 11% of the female donors register they are interested to donate, but the deferral rate is 5 times higher among them. And the most common reasons for deferral are low hemoglobin and low weight. And as you are all aware, anemia in women is a major public health problem. So if we address this, definitely we can improve on the female blood donation rate and strengthen our blood donor base. And the fifth one is to improve blood donation experience of a donor. Some of the business strategies or the companies, they mainly focus on the customer satisfaction. They have studied this aspect very well and they have succeeded in achieving customer satisfaction by improving their experience. The same thing can be applied in transfusion medicine as well. If we improve donor experience, definitely we will be able to retain our donors, because a donor spends around 45 minutes with us from the point of registration, health checkup, the donation and refreshments. At this point, if we work well and give a good service, somehow improve his experience, we will be able to retain them, and it may be a memorable event for the donor. So these are the problem statements that we have identified, and we are happy to extend the registration date to 12th of March. We invite all the team participants to register for this hackathon and work towards improving voluntary blood donation in our country and in the entire world. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that detailed description of the problem statements towards which the participants have to work to come up with novel ideas. Now, I request Dr. Sadhana Mangwana, Treasurer, Asian Association of Transfusion Medicine, who has a proactive role and provides unconditional support and guidance for conducting the events through AATM. I request Madam to deliver the vote of thanks.
Distinguished faculty, seniors and friends, moving towards the close of virtual launch of first ever Transfusion Medicine Hackathon. It's my pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks to all who have helped make this event a success. I must first and foremost express my thanks to all for your grand presence. On behalf of Asian Association of Transfusion Medicine India chapter, I would like to express my deepfelt thanks to Dr. Navjot Chaudhary, an organizer par excellence, good taskmaster and source of inspiration and guiding spirit to us from time to time. I would like to express my special thanks to KMC Manipal under the guidance of Dr. K. Prabhu and Dr. Arun Shanbag from Innovation Center Manipal Academy, who guided Dr. Shami Shastri and made us all educated about this novel concept to implement in the field of transfusion medicine in India. I would also like to thank Dr. Gajendra Gupta, Chairperson India chapter, who helped us advising and taking care of all the issues for organizing this event, all executive members of India chapter who worked in making this event unsuccessful and being available even on the short notice. Once again, my sincere thanks to all the participants who have joined us at this event. To conclude, let me once again reiterate that without you all, we will never have the courage to believe and the passion to make it happen. So thank you all, one and all, and good luck to the prospective and enthusiastic participants of the TM Hackathon. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again to all the speakers, participants who attended the session. Dr. Ganesh has shared the 2-minute guidance video on Transfusion Medicine Hackathon in the chat box. For more information, you can go through the video as well. And I would also like to remind the participants that the team need not be from restricted to the people of transfusion medicine. You can collaborate with others based on your idea, and it should be towards the problem statements defined. And to keep a note, it is a social innovation. The theme is voluntary blood donation. It is not profit based. So, and we are also, as Dr. Shami has told, the registration date is extended to March 12th. So I request all the participants to utilize this opportunity to improve the voluntary blood donation in India. We hope teams will come up in a huge number and come up with innovative ideas as well. I thank one and all again.
There's one raise hand by
There
Dr.
is one doubt, Deepika.
Yeah.
Puneet, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Dr. Puneet, over to you.
Hello, ma'am. I have just a question, ma'am. What is the scheduled timeline for that, ma'am? When should we be? When is the result expected, and what is the procedure for it, ma'am?
Let's first see how is the response, Dr. Puneet. How
Yes,
many
ma'am.
teams register themselves and give us the idea by 12th of March, what Dr. Shami has already said, the registration date. So let's wait. And maybe in a week's time, we can come to the conclusion, the shortlisted candidates. Let this first come first. Let the registration come first. Over to you, Shami.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Yes, Dr. Puneet and everyone, we request you to participate in this event in large number, because this is a new concept, lot of confusion, lot of doubts people are there, people are having. So please feel free to contact us anytime, and we shall address your queries. Thank you everyone for taking your time to join this event. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Okay,
Thanks, Deepika.
we will end the meeting now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.